Welcome to Hoystory on Air, Season 1, Episode 11. This is going to be try number 2. I tried recording this a little bit earlier and discovered that the background that I usually have all this stuff superimposed on had, for some reason, gone kaput. And troubleshooting that wasn't working, and so I kind of created a new one, which you will see momentarily. Get the feeling like this is going to be like the podcast guy from Ghostbusters Afterlife, where he really starts thinking his podcast starts hitting its stride around episode 87 or something like that. It'll probably be something ridiculous like that. Anyways, let's move on to this. Here's what we got going today. I know you all love it. Let's talk about the rot on the far right again. This will undoubtedly bring me some more fans of the two people mentioned here, Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, and obviously some others. Let me state right off, despite the popular belief by some people, the Jews aren't paying me for this. I don't have a $7,000 or $14,000 check coming. I don't know why it's multiples of 7. I'm sure some of you nut jobs can inform me of why those numbers in particular. It's not that I wouldn't be willing to kind of state my support for Israel for $7,000 or $5,000 or $4,000 or $2,000 or $1,000. But in this case, full disclosure, I'm doing it for free. Yeah. So if you're really curious about here, you've come here thinking that I'm going to praise Nick Fuentes and call it Tucker Carlson, you can probably stop watching right about now. If you're curious about why you shouldn't be paying attention to Nick Fuentes or Tucker Carlson, this is the place to be. So I'm going to play this. This is Tucker Carlson on C-SPAN's Washington Journal, September 24th, 1999. Let's watch.
America's relationship with Israel. Israel has a lobby. It's perfectly fair, as far as I'm concerned, to beat up on Israel's lobby. But I don't think that's the reason that Buchanan is being labeled an anti-Semite. It's this kind of, as I've said, this relentless bringing up topics related to Judaism. I mean, famously, Pat, always beats up on Goldman Sachs, but never Morgan Stanley. I mean, it's really hard to. There is no point at which Pat Buchanan has held a press conference and said, I really don't like the Jews. I think they're a sinister force in America. But I think, and it took me years to come to this position. I mean, I'm not throwing the term anti-Semite around. But you reach a point when you say, well, gee, here's a guy who has gone out of his way to defend Demjanjuk and other accused Nazi war criminals, who's constantly attacked Israel, who's attacked American Jews for supporting Israel unduly, who's implied that American Jews push America into wars in which non-Jews die. There really is, and again, I'm not hysterical on this subject, but I do believe that there is a pattern with Pat Buchanan of needling the Jews. Is that anti-Semitic? Yeah. I mean, after a while, you conclude it is, in some sense, anti-Semitic. I mean, Pat Buchanan obviously has a lot of personal and affectionate relationships with people who are Jewish. So on a personal level, perhaps he's not. But on a different, maybe thematic level, I think he probably is. I think that people should be allowed to have differing views on immigration. I think people should be allowed to point out the fact that there is an Israeli lobby, and yes, it's powerful, and debate the merits of that, I guess. I don't think there's, strictly speaking, anything wrong with that. But again, I think Pat Buchanan is part of the reason it's so hard to have that conversation, because he discredits it by his presence, because he gives people who watch him carefully the sense that he has another agenda that has to do with personal dislike, and that he believes in conspiracies, and that he believes that the Jews are this sinister, secretly organized force trying to affect American politics. And those aren't discussions I think normal people, sober people, should be having, because I think they're ludicrous.
Who's that guy? That sounds sane, because that's not the Tucker Carlson of today. The Buchanan he's referring to is Pat Buchanan. one-time Republican candidate for president. What happened to this guy? Because that makes a lot of sense. And that's kind of where I'm at today. For the record, I was in that same place in 1999 that Tucker was. What happened to this guy? He talks about, Buchanan goes on and defends Nazis like Demjanjuk. If I recall correctly, he was a prison guard or something that kind of hid his. He was not. I shouldn't say prison. He was a concentration camp guard, if I recall correctly, who snuck over here, changed his name, and lied about what he had done during the war, and they eventually booted him out, and I think Germany put him on trial or something as an old man, but I may be misremembering that, but he was definitely a Nazi. And then you've got Tucker, who goes on with Nick Fuentes, who's the same sort of odious piece of garbage. It's you wonder what happened to the guy. So this is a neat little video. Canary Mission put it on. Canary Mission is a organization that kind of watches anti-Semites online. Tucker Carlson says he interviewed Nick Fuentes to accept him and to legitimize his criticism of Israel. Let's be clear, there's nothing complicated to understand about Fuentes. Let's listen to this.
So I'm going to just shut up and you tell me what you actually believe.
I love Hitler. We love Hitler, not in a fucking gay way.
But also, I support Hitler, so it's really beside the point. But
here's the real problem. Jewish people running America.
And more than anything, those people need to be, when we take power, they need to be given the death penalty.
I would say that the Jews had better start being nice to people like us.
A lot of women want to be raped. And when I say raped, I mean like, that sounds bad when I say it like that. But there's like a lot of women that really want a guy to beat the shit out of them.
Well, women are children. Like, the way that women should be regarded is like they are between men and children.
I gotta find my 16-year-old wife. Probably when I turn 30 or something. A lot of people say this show is racist, and they're right. Don't say nigga, say nigger. You can do it. You can say it.
I don't like race mixing.
Yeah,
I think it's wrong.
In terms of tangible things, I don't think we disagree on any of it. Like registering AIPAC and FARA, banning dual citizenship.
But it's subverted when they're like, that's hate. No, that's hate. It's not hate.
Yes, it is hate. It is hate. If you're going to invite this guy on your show as some sort of, to take him down a rung, to challenge him, to expose him, there's not that much needs to be exposed, then great. But Carlson didn't do that. We agree on this stuff. Carlson says, Tucker Carlson did not challenge him. He knows how to challenge him. He's done it with Ted Cruz. Tucker Carlson shouldn't be part of the right. I think TPUSA needs to distance itself from it. He shouldn't be invited to any TPUSA events. I don't know if we can return to the Tucker Carlson of 1999. I'm not sure whether he's doing this because he believes this garbage or because it's somebody's giving him money. If somebody's giving him money, hey, at least he stays bought. Little expose on Twitter/X. Tucker Carlson had a guy on late last week, early this week, to basically call Trump a liar, to call Ted Cruz a liar. There are Islamists in Nigeria who are doing a program and killing Christians. It is, hundreds, thousands of them are being killed Christians are being killed on a regular basis. So who does Tucker Carlson invite on? He invites on this guy who's a PR flack, Robert Amsterdam, to deny that this is happening. There's videos. This is close to Holocaust denial in real time. There's videos of what the Germans did during World War II in their concentration camps. And you get Holocaust deniers like Fuentes and his ilk saying, that's all faked. Tucker Carlson invites this guy on to say it's all fake. Turns out that he has been doing PR and representing the leading Nigerian official closely associated with the Fulani Islamists, including the very militias that have been slaughtering Christians in Nigeria. You can't trust Tucker Carlson to tell you the truth. He's gone off his friggin' rocker. It gets better. It gets better. Tucker Carlson earlier this week says the government has finally admitted that chemtrails are real. Just in, they have not. It's called geoengineering. It's far worse than anything you imagined. Dane Wigington explains. You don't need to watch this because it's a bunch of crap. Yes, geoengineering is a thing. Not sure how effective of a thing it could be. People have talked. Someday I'll go into the whole global warming, Bolshevik storytelling that's been going on. Carbon dioxide is 0.04% of the atmosphere, 0.04%. And you've got an entire global warming, global climate change, climate chaos industry that suggests that 0.04% of the atmosphere, if you change it to 0.0408% of the atmosphere, then all of a sudden everything's going to die. It's not true. Why do they focus on carbon dioxide? Because we emit carbon dioxide. And if they can paint carbon dioxide as something very important that is ruining the world, then they can control you. They can tell you what kind of car you can drive. They can tell you how much, they can tax you more for energy use. They can ban coal-powered plants. They can ban the gas stove in your house or condo or apartment. If carbon dioxide isn't controlling all that stuff, then they don't have a leg to stand on as far as their demands that you do what they say. Chemtrails are allegedly what passenger jets, those streaks of white that you see across the sky. It's not. It's condensation because they're emitting. Jet engines are hot. You stand behind one, you stand too close behind one, you're going to turn into a crispy critter. Geoengineering is a thing. Some people have talked about, again, going back to carbon dioxide, it'd be more effective if we put up giant mirrors in space and reflected some percentage of the sunlight, or did something similar by putting aerosols of some sort into the atmosphere that would reflect the sunlight. If you want to talk about it kind of hypothetically and philosophically, and it was a real issue, the geoengineering probably would be more effective, at least an argument could be made, than these attempts to control carbon dioxide. But it's not happening. again, this is like his 9/11 loose change garbage that he's started peddling. The number of people who would have to be in on it and aren't talking about it is enormous. It's the old Benjamin Franklin line from Poor Richard's Almanac: 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. This is not a real thing. Which makes the Babylon Bee a great joke. Latest Tucker guest Bigfoot reveals how mind-controlling chemtrails are sprayed over the flat earth by the Jews. This is where he's at. I mean, give him 6 months, he'll have Bigfoot on. Again, Babylon Bee. Viewers were shocked to learn that not only was Bigfoot real, but the popular cryptid had been following conspiracy news for decades. Carlson nodded along with his guest, genuinely interested in what it had to say about Ben Shapiro. Bigfoot, who spoke with a series of unintelligible growls and whistles, was adamant that the Jews were behind the chemtrails, and it was all part of an elaborate scheme to make people falsely believe the earth is round. Bigfoot, a self-proclaimed expert on chemtrails, also added that the moon landing was faked because the moon is, in actuality, made of cheese, and that jet fuel can't melt steel beams. Yes. Can we stop taking this guy seriously? Can we stop pretending that that we need to reach out to people who think Tucker Carlson, he's right on? No. Again, this goes back, we're replaying the 50s and 60s and Buckley getting the Birchers out of the conservative movement. Tucker's lost it. Tucker of 26 years ago on C-SPAN, he's okay. This guy we got nowadays, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, apparently was a documentary, because something's different with this guy. So some background. Megyn Kelly, who used to be on Fox News, then was on NBC, and then she got sacked, and now she's on Sirius XM, had this little live show type thing where she interviewed some people down in Florida, I think. She interviewed Ben Shapiro, and I'm going to say pretended to be a whole lot more ignorant of what Tucker Carlson's pulling and what Candace Owens is pulling than I think she is. Guy on Twitter says, I'm completely done with Megyn Kelly. Candace Owens, who is an evil person. She was on the left, and then she was briefly kind of mainstream right, and then she went batshit crazy right all the way to the other end. She is so far, again, it's a horseshoe. She went from being over here on the horseshoe to being over here on the horseshoe. She did the whole travel thing. And sorry, she's nuts. I'm not sure I buy his claim that Candace has something on Megyn, but he's right to criticize her. Shapiro went on and basically said that, hey, Candace Owens has been saying that Erica Kirk was in on the assassination of her husband, which is true. Has she come out and said Erica Kirk killed her husband? No, she hasn't. Because while Candace Owens is vile, she's not quite that stupid. It's amazing, people who kind of deny that Candace Owens is doing this they're the same types of people who can constantly hear these dog whistles. Oh, and when these guys make this OK symbol, they're talking about it's a white racist thing. Or, any of those other dog whistles you hear the left claim, oh, and, when someone says states' rights, they're talking about the Southern strategy and all Republicans are racist. They can hear those dog whistles, but they absolutely refuse to read between the lines on all that Candace Owens has been saying in the past month. Let's move on to Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly calling Ben Shapiro a liar because Megyn Kelly can't read between the lines.
He said that Candace has been claiming Erica Kirk was behind the murder of Charlie, which I had not heard, and I was taken aback because that seems like something I would have heard. It's so crazy. And I have since learned it is not true. Candace has not made that claim. And in fact, I've now seen several clips of Candace specifically defending Erica Kirk and saying she would never make a claim like that about Erica, and that she is open-minded to other people at Turning Point. That's obvious. She's been making that point. I had heard that point. But she's specifically been defending Erica Kirk, and she's been saying she does not think that of Erica. And in fact, if you read her comments, she's under pressure to make comments about Erica. And so far, what I've seen, she hasn't. So thank you for that question.
This is what we call Bolshevik storytelling. It's not true. She has not been exonerating Erica Kirk. Candace Owens has been blaming her too. She is not, everyone at Turning Point except Erica. And of course, we have receipts. I will wait with bated breath to find for Megyn Kelly to produce the receipts where Candace Owens has been defending Erica Kirk, because it hadn't happened. But I look forward to that. So this is posted on Twitter. Again, the links to these, you want to see the original Twitter posters, whatnot. This was Conservative Sensible on Twitter, and I guess TikTok, who kind of culled these together. Let's take a look at this.
Week we had a conversation. She said after he died, I went in and I started going through his diaries. I was reading the last few pages and everything else. She said I started reading him. She said he left me the plans for 2028. He left me the budgets for the future. She said he left this for me. And she is a force to be reckoned with. I mean, TPUSA is in really good hands, I think, with her.
What do you hope to achieve for Charlie and for the country?
Oh my goodness. All of his wildest dreams for this organization and more. He left me a blueprint and all of his journals, but more so.
But wait, Charlie, wasn't he like a boy genius? He's a pretty bright kid. Wouldn't he have maybe formalized that succession plan outside of like a diary? Maybe call one of his many lawyers? Maybe formalize it in a will, because that's what you're supposed to do if you are thinking about dying and you need to make a plan. You make a will. I'm sure he had a will, but no, he wanted to put it in these notebooks. And then the plan was to guilt us, I think, to try to haunt us with the ghost of Charlie's notebooks that we're never going to be allowed to read, but we're supposed to accept that they most definitely read, like for sure. That's what it feels like. Do you agree? I think their thought process was it will be much easier for us to control the spirit of Charlie Kirk than the actual living, breathing Charlie Kirk. I am telling you guys, when we go back and we look at the calendar and we see that request went out in mid-July, it drives me insane. It just screams at me that this was an inside job, okay? It reeks of an inside job. That is how I feel. And the more that we learn about the story, the little changes that happen, the inexplicable things that we're learning, it becomes clearer and clearer that somehow at some layer, at some stage, Turning Point USA is involved because they're giving us no clarity. I want you to imagine you get a phone call, okay, from whoever saying that the person that you love most in this world and the person that you are married to has been shot. How fast are you getting off that phone? You're staying on the phone. You're asking questions. There's a series of questions that need to be answered. You scream. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Where is he? Where do I go? Blah, 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 blah. Is he okay? There are a litany of questions that would be asked. And please don't tell me that this is some situation where that wouldn't be the circumstance. I am so tired of the you wouldn't know what you would do. I do know that you're asking a series of questions.
I need clarification because every day that goes on,
It feels to me like Turning Point is engaged in a cover-up. And there's no other way to say this. There's no other ways. I don't care who at Turning Point tweets. I literally do not care. I will breathe fire on all of you. I know how these events work. Why was this event confirmed so quickly when it was requested so late? Answer these questions. I need answers to these questions to understand what happened on that day. Be very explicit, okay? I want war with all of you. Because I know this is right. And there's no way you are going to convince me and the rest of the world that all of this is normal. We're not just going to keep on going and jump into a succession plan. We're going to figure out what the hell happened on September 10th first. And I'm going to tell you guys, Charlie had a vision. Charlie Kirk did in fact know that Turning Point was going to be the death of him. And I have proof of that. He also knew that I was the only person who was going to step up to defend him after he was gone. That sounds crazy, but it's the truth.
That's a crazy person. She implies that it was going to be easier to control the ghost of Charlie Kirk than it was to control Charlie Kirk. And so yes, she's suggesting that Erica Kirk is in on it because Erica Kirk is in charge now. That's what, she's suggesting that Erica Kirk was in on the murder of Charlie Kirk, which is batshit crazy. Excuse my French. You've heard a lot of cuss words and whatnot, and a lot of words that I would never use here on the show today. So far, I apologize. Sometimes you need to air this laundry. Oh, it gets better. It gets better.
Heart aches for the fact that he gave so much of his life to Trump and to politics, and they just were like, nope, that is it. It serves us or it doesn't serve us, and we want to move on. And so here's a holiday. Bro, if they try to give me a holiday, what is with them giving people a holiday after they kill them? Why is that a thing? You know what I mean? Like, oh, Martin Luther King, what about this holiday? What about this boulevard? Anyways, let me knock it off. Like, they're going to give Charlie Kirk a boulevard. They already did. They did in Israel. They gave him freaking boulevard. It's like, as soon as they give you a boulevard and a holiday, they definitely killed you. Okay, there's no question. They killed you. There's no way. That's like their signature thing. It's like that's what they do. It's the Fed signature. It's how they sign off after they murder you. They're like holiday and a boulevard. And it's never on a nice side of town either. Like Charlie Kirk Boulevard is not going to be a nice side of town. Anyways, I will be back on the 27th, you guys. Thank you guys for all the support throughout these couple of weeks, these last really kind of 6 weeks since Charlie died. And we will see you guys.
No, she doesn't deserve her support. That's the Jews, because the boulevard's in Israel. That's Trump. Trump killed him because, Trump. This is insane. Insane. This is what she's been doing. Oh, Megyn Kelly. Oh, no, she's been defending Eric. No, she hasn't. She's claiming that she's the only one who's going to get to the bottom of this. When you've got an open and shut case on the trans fan dude with the boyfriend who wants to be a girlfriend I'm sorry. This is pretty darn open and shut. This woman is mentally ill. You shouldn't defend her. You shouldn't, she's nuts. And in the wake of this, apparently, she knows she's nuts. And she's trying to cover it up. She's trying to walk it back. Let's see how you like this little bit of walking back about what she's saying, what she's not saying, just asking questions.
And it's emotionally manipulative for them to be like, that's how you honor Charlie. Pretend to be an idiot. Pretend to not know how accounts work. Pretend to not know what it means when we say certain things and then change our stories multiple times. Pretend like it's just beyond the pale that Candace would suggest that we're engaging in a cover-up. Yes, I did say that. I didn't say that Mikey murdered Charlie Kirk. I said Turning Point is engaged in a cover-up because that is literally the only reason that people lie. Anytime you lie, it's because you're covering up the truth. You're engaging in a cover up, even if it's a white lie. Even if I say, I'm trying to surprise a friend for a birthday party and I tell her I'm the only one that's going to be there, meet me here. It's a lie because I'm covering up a certain truth, right? That is what lies are for. There is no other reason to lie unless you're covering something up. So when you lied about the Catholicism thing, it wasn't because you murdered Charlie Kirk, Alex. It was because likely you guys were more concerned with your Christian Zionist donors and also pressure from your Jewish donors. And so you just lied to cover up the truth about where Charlie was at. Tanner Report USA is telling a lot of lies. They're engaged in a cover up. I said it. I am putting my name on that. I will not be apologizing for what I said. Come forth with the truth or don't. Okay. And if you don't, we're just going to keep investigating and see how you feel about it. Take a quick break and I'll get to some of your comments.
I'm not going to lie either. She's evil. She's absolutely evil. This is, we shouldn't be surprised. Again, on Twitter, Candace Owens is in full what I actually meant was mode. This is peak revisionist damage control. Now she's claiming when I said cover up, I meant not totally honest. Come on. Nobody thought she was talking about PR, public relations. She accused people of murder, not messaging issues. She said TPUSA was involved in the assassination, not fibbing about a lunch receipt. Again, this is calculated revisionism after her lies got debunked. And Megyn Kelly is buying this. Or at least, I don't think she's buying it. I think Megyn Kelly is weighing some things. She is weighing her relationship with Tucker. She is weighing the nut right, the anti-Semitic right. Megyn Kelly regularly has Glenn Greenwald on, who's Jewish, but he's not a fan of Israel, and is in fact, he believes this crap. I mean, I follow the guy on Twitter /X just to see what he's up to, because sometimes on other issues he's okay, but Megyn Kelly's she's weighing things. She's making decisions based on friendship with Tucker, getting this audience, getting that audience. It's more than a little bit disgusting, but it is what it is. Moving on, Rich Lowry put a piece out earlier this week, The Malevolent Brilliance of Candace Owens. He writes, this is next level lunacy. There's been a lot of conversation about Tuck Carlson and Nick Fuentes lately, but everyone should spare a thought for Candace Owens. On her eponymous, I can never pronounce that word, podcast, Candace, the crackpot influencer, has been conducting an investigation into what happened to Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. That is another symptom of how far off the rails a segment of the right-wing media ecosystem has gone. Owens is too foolish even for Fuentes, who says she defines low IQ anti-Semitism, although Carlson has her on his podcast for friendly interviews. The Owens probe is about as serious and likely to bear fruit as OJ's attempt to find the real killer of Nicole Brown Simpson. According to Owens, who once worked with Kirk at Turning Point USA, what obviously didn't happen is that Tyler Robinson shot Kirk in the neck with a rifle at relatively close range from the roof of a building with a clear line of sight to Kirk after fulminating about the activist and podcaster being a hater. No. In episode after episode, day after day, for an hour or more, she claims that things just don't feel right, invests enormous significance in minutiae, and asks for help from listeners in tracking down supposedly crucial information, casts aspersions on TPUSA, attacks anyone who pushes back against her accusations, claims that things are getting weirder and weirder, makes dark insinuations about Jews and Israel, and suggests that she could be killed at any time by the same shadowy forces that took out Kirk. Give Candace Owens this: it takes considerable talent to make an open and shut murder case and turn it into a whodunit and a you've got to listen to every episode true crime mystery. Yes. And here's the thing we'll see how far people are willing to kind of go in pandering to this sort of garbage. Because you know who up until a week ago were pretty regular guests on Megyn Kelly's show? Rich Lowry and Charles C.W. Cook. Now, again, the past week or so, they have not appeared on Megyn Kelly's show. They have criticized this garbage with Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, as they should, as is right. But they haven't been on Megyn Kelly's show in the last week. I'm not sure if that's Megyn Kelly. I'm not sure if it's them. I kind of hope it's them. It'd be nice if they discussed it on their editor's podcast. You know, what their relationship with Megyn Kelly is at this point. But I'm not sure at what point you can keep on going buddy-buddy with Megyn Kelly. I understand wanting to have a big tent and have a big audience. I would like to have a big audience. I'd like you to click subscribe on this video. I'd like you to click like on this video. I'd like you to tell your friends. But I'm not going to soft pedal anti-Semitism or say nice things about people who are not nice in order to get you to watch this or to stay here. Not going to happen. I will tell you the truth as I believe it to be, as I see it. I'm not going to soft pedal stuff. I'm not going to be friends with rapers. I'm not going to accept a Republican Party. I've had a hard enough time accepting a Republican Party with Trump in it. You know, I've been a conservative far longer than Trump has been a conservative. And I think he does good things. I think he does bad things. I think he's a habitual liar. Frankly, just like Biden was an habitual liar. They lie about stupid things. They're not worth lying about. But occasionally Trump does good things. But I'm not willing to... but you're going to get... You watch these, you're going to get my opinion, whether you like it or not. I hope you keep on coming back.